Alright, thanks for checking out this video. This one, purpose of this video is to kind of correct something that I got wrong in my previous disassembly video of this, and to show the disassembly process in a bit more depth. In my previous disassembly video, I thought I'd put something back wrong and lost like a small washer or a E-clip or retention O-ring or something in the trigger pin, because it continually, after firing it, would like walk out. So I thought that I'd put it back together wrong and lost a piece. And it turns out I had put it back together wrong, but I hadn't lost anything. I didn't realise that the springs for the hammer are what sit in the little grooves in the side of the pins on the trigger and hold it there. Now the hammer has a small retention washer in the center of it that keeps the hammer on the center of the pin, and the springs from the hammer keep this pin from walking out either side, which is pretty cool. So I'll pop it open and we'll take a proper look at what I mean, because sometimes this rear pin, because of the Accu wedge I've got in there, the rear pin likes to get stuck. So upper and lower disassembled. Show on the camera. So yeah, the arms for the hammer spring down the sides are actually what's keeping that pin in place, this pin in place, which is pretty nifty. This one likes to walk out, and I think I do have like an O-ring that might solve that, but it doesn't push beyond, you know, the surface of the receiver without a reasonable amount of force. I'm pretty sure that's just how it is. So yeah, I'm gonna pop everything out, and so I can actually show you properly how to do it. And I'll also do the upper as well. So let's put these back in. So I think I kept putting the hammer in first. Really, you want to do the hammer last. So if I punch out the hammer, so yeah, the hammer's got these grooves on it. The hammer pin has these, oh, where is it? I don't know if it's going to focus in, but it's got a groove in the middle. And the hammer itself, in the center, has this small like washer that hooks around the groove in the middle of the pin. Okay, it's difficult to do now, but it goes around the groove in the middle of the pin and stops that from walking side to side. So when you put your hammer back together, you got to make sure that that bit is in the middle. So that goes in there. The clip goes in, and then that should line it up. Something like that. Now the trigger assembly we do actually need to take out the auto sear as well. Cool. I'm not going to take out the selector. We don't really need to right now. Or do we? Yeah, we actually do. Never mind. So, with that out of the way, we can just push it. Careful of that little retention pin, that will fly. There we go. Cool. So that's our lower disassembled, minus like the grip, but we all know how a grip comes off. Right. You're gonna go trigger first. And this little spring goes in the little groove inside the trigger's little platform. And then our disconnector goes into the hole for it, should line up with where the trigger pin is going to go. And then this little squared out bit sits on top of that spring. And you push all that down and line it up. The pin has grooves. It has a groove on one side. It doesn't matter which way around it goes, but it's got a groove in the middle for the disconnector to hook onto, and then it's got a groove on one side, and it doesn't matter which side it is. It's just the spring here on the hammer sits. One of these sides of the spring will sit in that groove and keep it in place. So push that through. It shouldn't take too much force if it's all lined up properly, and you got to make sure that that spring on the disconnector stays upright. Otherwise you'll have reset problems. And we know that the VFC receivers are made out of cheese, so we don't want to tap a pin too hard through with it not lined up. Yeah, and it just pushes through with your finger really if it's all lined up. Like, it shouldn't really take the hammer. If you needed to do the hammer, it's probably not lined up right. So once I'd lined it up, it just pushed straight through. Now that pin can walk side to side, so the hammer is going to stop that from happening. Now before we put the hammer in, I just want to put the auto sear and the selector back in. So the selector needs the pin to go back through. Cool. Cool. Bit of a pain in the butt to do it that way, but you can do it that way, so I guess it's useful to know that you can. Now this guy, they're kind of fiddly to do, especially when you're trying to show on the camera what you're doing and you're not really looking. So there we go. Not quite. Just like hook the spring and carefully push the actual metal bit towards the back of the gun. Ugh. Like this. Basically like this. Put that in place like that. Get your pin. As far as I'm aware, it doesn't matter which way it goes. If it does, I'll correct it again in another video. And I didn't do it right. Spring goes in front of the fire selector, and the metal piece goes behind the fire selector. And the pin goes through. Like that. There we go. Got there in the end. Cool. Alright, hammer time. So we've got our hammer back together with the spring. And the spring is going to go down the sides, not underneath the trigger ones, just over the top. And it does kind of help if you cock the hammer when you're putting this back together, because then it's held by the trigger and you can just sort of hold the trigger like this and put your pin through. So, in theory. And again, it should go through pretty well, put like about halfway on its own, and then you'll get to those grooves that retention nut in the center is holding in, and then you can just gently tap it through. If you meet any resistance, just check that it's lined up, and then you're good to go. So that is your trigger. Nice and reassembled. You can tell that pin's not going anywhere, that pin's not going anywhere. This one does have a little bit of play in it, but it's okay. So yeah, so that's the trigger assembly and how that works. So let's get rid of the slide catch. So the slide catch, the bolt catch. Right. Don't lose our little spring. And then if you undo this little Allen head underneath here, you can pull out your gas punch assembly. I'm not going to do that. I don't need to do that. I have done it in previous videos, but all that does, if you then pull out the mag catch, you can move this whole block out, and the whole assembly is like one part. I don't think you can really replace the individual parts inside it. Maybe you can. You can just buy drop-in replacements if anything goes wrong with your gas punch. But on the V3 ones, you shouldn't have any necessity to do that. They're pretty good. I've not seen the need to take apart or replace anything in the V3 gas punches. I'm just going to pop this pin back through. It's retained by a little O-ring. And through by hand. And yeah, boom. So that is your lower disassembly. So yeah, let's move on to the upper. And again, like, I may not actually disassemble the entire thing. We'll see. I've not actually done that before, so we'll have to see, because I don't particularly fancy punching out all the pins and doing the sight and stuff. There is another way to get the front end off without doing that, but if it's necessary, we will. Now, I've noticed my charging handle bit is kind of snapped, so I need to get a new one. I might pop out this pin and just replace this bit if I've got a spare one somewhere, but these aren't too expensive, so I can just get another one. So there's a bolt carrier. Now, VFC bolt carriers kind of suck because these screws are a massive pain to get out. I'm not sure I'm gonna bother doing that on this one, because I bet these screws don't come out. This was a bolt carrier I bought as a whole piece for like about 30 quid plus shipping, that has an M-Pass inside it. It's a V2 M-Pass VFC bolt carrier group. So The easiest way to put an M-Pass in your VFC gun if it doesn't have one is to do that. It's just spinning freely. Do it. So yeah, just buy a complete one, drop it in. Use your N-passless one in the cold in the winter, unless it comes with a restrictor, in which case you will have to like take apart your bolt carrier group and have a fucking nightmare doing it, because VFC puts so much glue on these screws. It's like they don't want you to take it apart and make it more better. Yeah, I don't even think I've got a thing the right size to even try, and I don't want to fuck up these screws. I've got no reason to. A company have recently cloned the VFC system. I saw it at MOA, or no, it was the IWA Expo. Just in videos, there was a company, I think it might even be Well Pro, yeah. So they're doing a system where they've actually made this much better. So you don't disassemble anything from here, from the back, to change the nozzle. There's a screw in the front instead. So you undo the screw and you can take it out, and it seems much more intuitive. God, that needs a clean. That bolt carrier needs a fucking clean. Where's my clock? So yeah. That's disgusting. Dry now, I might need to lose that up. Seems to be right. Cool. So, bolt carrier group. Now, I've said in several videos before, with the VFC retention ring, you need a fucking friend and an afternoon to get the bloody handguards off. And you can see like my delta ring is pretty scratched up from using a screwdriver because I don't have any friends. First, that might help. Cool. I don't know why they make the springs in these delta rings so violent. Oh, there we go. Cool. That's the handguards off. God damn it. Bloody punches. Now, the usual process to remove the barrel assembly would be to remove the flash hider, punch out these pins, undo a retention screw, slide that shit off, and then with a tool like this, which can be acquired quite easily on eBay for like 25 quid, Amazon even, 25 quid, you undo the delta ring. However, I think I remember taking it off a different way without doing any of that shit. And that involves a bunch of screws that are in here, because although it's made to look like a one-piece barrel, it's actually not. So yeah, I believe you can access your hop unit and everything without having to remove the barrel nut. You can see there's a lot of glue on that screw. Probably a good thing. So if you do take these screws out, maybe thread lock them back on when you're done. Am I wrong? I might be wrong. No, I'm not wrong. So it comes off like that. I did have a comment on a video asking if there was a way to change this without taking the barrel nut off, and yeah, so there is. it's like that. It's just sort of, there's these two screws at either side in the hop chamber housing, and then this sort of push fit, tension fit piece, so you just got to yank it off. But yeah, that's your barrel. The barrel's really like sturdy in there. That's nice to know. It's like there's no movement in the inner barrel. It's really held in well by the hop chamber. So yeah, but yeah, so that's your upper disassembly. I'm not gonna disassemble the hop unit, but I can show you what it looks like this. So this is obviously, this is a barrel base. It's an alternative one. I might use this in an upper and have a separate, a different upper for it, like a Mark 12 or something like that. And yeah, so here's your hop unit. Needs a hop rubber. There's a hop arm in here and all the other bits and bobs. The hop arm sits in here, and the wheel has a groove in it that the arm of the hop arm, like the back of the seesaw, if you will, just rides around inside this groove. So when you turn this wheel, it lifts the arm up and down like so, applying pressure to the hop rubber. So it's pretty simple and effective. Handy spares to have. You know, you can buy VFC spares if you ever find yourself with the cash to spare on it. It is always handy. I've got a Quantum hop Friction Pro hop rubber here as well that I've yet to put in something. Again, I'm just not sure what to put it in yet. And I also have a spare bolt carrier group here. Not sure which one this is. But yeah, just spare. Your upper apart, that's kind of how you do it. Obviously, to take it apart further, you loosen this with a tool like this, and you'll be able to see the individual parts I just showed there. So let's get this back together. Gonna have to like make sure all the holes through the delta ring and the spring and everything line up so that your gas tube can go through into the upper receiver, like so. And we're good. And we can get these screws back in. At some point I'm going to need to thread lock these because, you know, they were thread locked before, so you don't want to over tighten them either. You just get them in nice and snug. For now anyway, just so I can thread lock, so I can take them out again and thread lock them when I need to. Cool, so yeah, that's that. Apologies to the guy that asked me that in a video a long time ago. Sorry it's taken me till now to reply, but yes, you can take the barrel off without taking that barrel nut off. You just need to take out these two screws and then yank it off, and it should work. Now I might set this up a little differently on the reassembly. Cool. M203s are based. Right. We're going to stick the little shorty M203 on here. Just cause. This is an S&T 203. It's been modified inside the tube a little bit so it fires tag rounds. I've never fired any tag rounds through it because tag rounds are quite expensive, but I would like to because they're super cool. If I could get some like green smoke, I think that'd be the most useful way to use tag rounds. Right, there's a launcher there. Get the nut back on. Now I think I was using this little plastic piece here, yeah, just to stop it from moving a bit more. Just as like a little extra security thing to keep it nice and sturdy. Cool, that's going in there. Flip it over and get the other side in. These little barrel clamp things for M203s and Airsoft are actually kind of hard to find, you know. Like, I think I got a set of the G&P ones, which come with an XM177 one and an M16 one. The M16 one has obviously goes around the barrel before the front sight post because it's further out. So you put the clamp on the barrel and then it has this little spike that sort of keeps everything in place, putting pressure against there to keep the right distance. But it's not perfect. So yeah, I temporarily used I got a Coke can, cut it up, folded it up into like this sort of shaped piece, and then bolted that to it, and that actually held it together really well. So, you know, if you can't find a barrel clamp for your 203, you can make one just out of some like sheet aluminium, and you can get it to work quite well as long as you've got the screws. Cool. Right, let's get that on. God, again, you need like a fucking friend in a day to get this shit on. Oh, another scratch. I'm not too precious about my stuff once it's scratched once. I can be at first, but once you scratch it once, it's like, wow, we're just gonna put some wear and tear on it now, aren't we? Like, I've got certain things in my collection that I'm never going to sell anyway, so this is one of them. Right, 203. Look at that. That's fucking cool, right? Now, obviously, when you disassemble the upper and lower to do anything in this inside, you have to do both clips because it won't open up anymore. Cool. Get Mr. Lower back on. Not got my bolt carrier in, good start. Don't know if I'll be able to get it in. Yeah, we can. So you can get your bolt carrier out, but you can't do anything else. Put that up there. Before I use this again, I will grease it up. And that AccuEdge really does a good job of this pin. Right, that's on there nice and snug. Clip that on and then get our stock back on. I really need a vise and one of those like AR mount things that you put in the vise, and then you can just sit it on the vise and do all your work on it that way. I need one of them. There we go. XM177 M203 grenade launcher and a real Aimpoint 9000 SC. Cool. Pins are solid in there, they're not walking. I wasn't missing anything. I was just being silly. And yeah, my selector's a little bit loose just because it's quite old. So I might get a new spring in there. There's a little bit of play there, but I'll fix that with that piece I put in. It just needs a bit more girth on it, I think. I'll do that now. Which means I've got to take the bloody handguard off again. But it's got to be right.
Literally, do a bit more tape down this to get more tension.
Don't want to use the blue tape in case you can see it. So use this Gorilla tape, that should do the trick. Just to make it a little bit bigger.
It's not, you know, I'll repeat, bit of trial and error, but I'll repeat it until it's there. I was hoping to not have to take this piece off again, but it looks like I will.
You know you play Airsoft too much. Or at least you know you fiddle around with Airsoft stuff too much when lefty-tighty becomes normal. But what you might not realise is it's not lefty-tighty. So a lot of like firearm, you know, barrel threads are left-hand thread, and that's not because it wants you to do it left-handed. It's because you're not supposed to look down the barrel as you tighten something onto it. So you're not meant to look at it and tighten it righty-tighty. You're supposed to put it away from you and tighten it righty-tighty, because doing it like that is righty-tighty, even though it's left-hand thread, but it's because it's pointed away from you. So yeah, the more you know. Oh, that's way more solid on there. See that? That's not going nowhere. Cool. No more rattly grenade launcher. It looks pretty dope without a handguard, but we'll put it on. You really, handguard springs are ridiculous. I don't think real ones are like this hard. There is like a proper tool you can get for them. No, I do want, but having, I don't know. There we go. We got there. Cool. So, there we go. Hey Beans. Just to complete the picture. XM177, disassembled, reassembled, grenade launcher installed, ready to rock and roll. I hope this video is like useful to someone. If you like this video and you want to see more of it from me, hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, like the video, do all that stuff. If you made it to the end, thank you very much, you're the best. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.